And we're going to do this. Okay, welcome everybody to a marketing roundtable. Great to see you all here live, and fantastic to see anybody on the replays that might be watching this now. Today we're going to be talking about one of the things that's really close to my heart, which is about repurposing content and getting value from all of your hard-earned work on social media, because we do spend loads of time agonizing over different posts, agonizing over articles or long-form posts, etc., that we put out, and then they're fleeting, they're gone in an instant, and we need to be able to bundle that value up and to keep on having that value deliver for us week in, week out for our audience. And this little tactic that I'm going to show you today is really simple, but of course, all the best things in life and business are simple. Richard Branson very much famously said that the hardest thing to do in business is to keep things simple. Well, today's going to be one of those things that is going to help you to keep things simple. Right. So let me just share my slides and presentation, and we're going to go through it. So the first kind of half of today, for 20-25 minutes, is going to be talking about how we can get our social media into a long-term warming up email sequence. The second part is going to be very much around a Q&A, and the idea around that Q&A is about getting questions, thoughts, sharing other people's opinions on this, round tabling it properly. Okay, so we love to get that interaction, so do feel free to stick questions in the chat as we go, and we can pick those up then, or if there's something really important in that moment, do feel free to also stick the old digital hand up and we can loop to you, but we've got that great time for Q&A in there. But first, let's think, we're talking about email marketing, but you'll be like, oh, I thought email marketing was dead. Aren't we all using Slack now, and aren't we all sending DMs through social, and why would we ever bother with this email stuff? Isn't GDPR killed email? Hasn't the spam filters killed email? Well, just to throw some typical statistics, 4.3 or 4.03 billion people around the world use email, and experts expect that to grow to 4.5 billion by 2025. I don't think we're surprised by that. Everybody's got an email, haven't they? The latest Facebook statistics is giving them just over 2.2 billion monthly active users. So that's amazing by Facebook, by the way. So it's just to show how much of a great audience that is to go for. But look, everybody uses email, so it's a case of an art of getting in there and actually doing it in the right way and to add value, and that's what we're going to go through today. So email is not dead. So what is a long-term warming up? And I'm just conscious at any point I might sneeze because I've got bad hay fever, so I'm just warning you now. So the long-term warming up email sequence is this part of a funnel. So if we look at a typical funnel, whenever we're working with clients, we'll start to say, well, actually, what is your funnel? We'll design a funnel. It might look like something like this. This is a LinkedIn weekly moment funnel, where you've got activity going in to get people to come along to, say, a weekly event. The bit that really we're looking at today is this bit down the bottom, which is this warming up email sequence. Because if you just go and say to someone, hey, come along to an event, and they don't really know what you're about, they've never seen anything from you, and you're just inviting them along to something, how are they going to know that you're an authority on that subject? How are you going to know that you've got credibility? Why would I even bother turning up to listening to you when there's a ton of different events happening every single day online? That is why a long-term warming up email sequence sit in, and that's why it's really important, because it's going to keep on adding that value in to your audience, and you can do it without having to oversell something. You can do it without having to really call people to big actions. You can kind of use a PS to say, PS also, if you want to jump into a weekly call, or do you want to have a strategy session, work it there. So you can see these dotted lines here. You've got these emails that are coming in, and then this link that will be these dotted arrows that go to strategy sessions. So the beauty of sending regular email communication is that you will pick up people jumping straight into meetings with you, sales pitches with you, jumping straight into weekly calls, or watching your YouTube videos, or signing up for your webinars, whatever the thing is next on the stage. These emails can help, but their primary objective is to be a piece of content in their own right that shows your credibility. So we want to, one, demonstrate that credibility, as I said. Two, you want to keep your name in front of your audience, because if you don't do that, crikey, so many times I speak to people and say, well, when was the last time you actually emailed your audience? When was the last time you actually sent them something? And people say, oh, I'm not sure what to send them. I didn't know when to do it. And the beauty of this is it can do it automatically, and it will keep on warming up your audience automatically. So that's really important. It's one of the reasons why we use it. The third thing is that it's going to help to actually generate those strategy sessions. It's going to actually, in its own right, get sales appointments for you. 4, it's going to use that fleeting social media content because otherwise you spent loads of time creating something and you want to utilize that, or someone else has said something nice about you. And we're going to show you different ways of finding inspiration for your long-term warming up. And if you don't capture those in a moment and use them as a long-term asset, then they're just gone. When was the last time you went onto someone's profile and scrolled all the way to the bottom of their feed? You're never going to. You only see what's popping up into your feed. You never go back and look for months in the past of someone else's, right? 5, once it's automated, this system is totally hands-free, and the management of this can be delegated to someone like a VA in your team, or you can even delegate it to someone who's going to write the emails for you. So once you've got this working, you don't even need to touch it again. We like that. Okay. So when we talk about social media rhythm, and we've talked about this in other roundtables, this is what we train our clients on and get them to work. We talk about having a system that every single day of the week, you've got something going out that's aligned around your objectives. So for example, on Monday, you can do an engagement creator. It spikes the algorithm, so you got lots of people looking at your stuff. On Tuesday, you go, hey, now that I've got lots of people looking at my stuff, I'm going to then promote my weekly moment to say I've got an event going on tomorrow. To Wednesday, you might do the event, like a marketing roundtable like this, or you might do a live, or you might launch your YouTube video, you might launch your big blog or article that you might do, but have like a crescendo, an important part to the week. Then on Thursday, you can say, hey, who wants the replay of my weekly moment? And people can go, great, right? So that weekly moment funnel's kind of done that. You tee it up on Monday to then promote it on Tuesday, deliver it on Wednesday, Thursday, who wants the replay, right? Friday, you can then go, hey, here's a piece of thought leadership or win that's come out of that weekly moment, or something that we're seeing that we want to share. Now, this Friday piece is the long-term warming up piece. This is usually the bit that's perfect for adding into an email sequence. And so when you post on a Friday, when you talk to people, put an article out or share a case study, that you can be also duplicated into an email. But it's not an email that you send a line to that Friday. You don't send the same thing on Friday. You're going to add it to a back of an email sequence. I'm going to show you all that. Just to quickly cover this off, Saturday, Sunday, you're just going to do some lifestyle posts. You want your week to kind of tail off to not be all work. So you do a bit of stuff about you, and then boom, back round on Monday, right? So that's the kind of social media rhythm we recommend for clients who are really trying to put together a campaign. But we bet that most people on this call are already sitting on a long-term warming up email sequence. So for example, LinkedIn articles. So if you went onto LinkedIn and had a look at this bit here, articles, I bet that you, if you've ever shared a LinkedIn article, will have 3 or 4 different LinkedIn articles that you could go and grab, take that article and add it into an email sequence as a piece of thought leadership. You're probably already sitting on that. You might be sitting on old blogs. Now, when I took over this boiler servicing business that I grew, it was only a couple of vans. We then scaled it 7 vans and sold it. They already had a website, and on that website, they already had a load of blogs that an SEO company had written for them because they knew they needed to get some content on their website because they felt that they should do, and it was good for SEO. Lots of people have that, or old stuff that they've done. Now, these guys had loads of these great tips, such as when to bleed a radiator, or when to actually service a boiler. Why should you service a boiler? Why should you, how to actually diagnose if it's a boiler issue, or if it's a cylinder issue. All these tips that someone had written because they thought it was good for SEO, it was just sitting there on their website, 3-4 years old, that was doing nothing. And we simply looked at all that content and we grabbed it out, and we started to add it into a long-term warming up. They sent an email every 2 weeks to customers with a new tip, a new idea, a new way of being able to help service or look after their heating. And again, it just was a great way of showing our authority, keeping our name in the frame. So if someone did have a problem with their boiler, we're the first person on their mind, right? There was never a couple of weeks that went past without us sending an email. Can you say that about your database? You may have some fantastic client wins and reviews and nice things that people have said about your social media. But have you grabbed that and put it into some email content as a bit of a case study or a story of how you've helped someone, right? So for example, here, look on LinkedIn. How many of you have got recommendations on LinkedIn? Look at these great things that people have said. Now you could say, oh, appreciate Richard's wise, honest, and open advice recently. He certainly knows his stuff and generously says some fab ideas with me. Thank you again. So I could start an email to say, last month, Emma Good, a social media trainer, kindly said this thing about me on LinkedIn. And very delighted that she felt that way. The reason why she felt that way is that we were talking about this type of problem for her business. Or I might just say, I might not even say her name. I say, recently, a social media consultant and trainer had a strategy session with me and said this. Why they said that was because I realized that they weren't doing X, Y, and Z in their marketing. I recommend they do this. And she's tried it and she's got some amazing results from it. Do you see how I can just use that as a thing to hang off credibility to then start to add out into a long-term warming up? We've all probably got these things sitting in our profiles, but are we using them? And this happened on March the 22nd, or this one happened in January, right? But if someone didn't see that around the 28th of January, that's gone. Nobody's going to look at that again. Whereas I'm going to add it into an email sequence that's going to pay off over and over. I am going to build this email sequence for you today. I'm going to show you how that works. So this is where we're going with this. Okay. On your Facebook page, you may have, I've only got like 6 reviews on my Facebook page. It's not really something that I've actually, gone out and promoted to ask for people for some, but I was just looking at it today when I put this together and I go, oh, okay, great. I've got some nice little reviews here from other people on my Facebook page, just picked up organically over time. Can I use those? And then one of the tips that we do is that when you can find these little screenshots, add them in as social posts. So what we're doing is we're saying we're taking now a review that someone's done. You then take that review and you might add it as an Instagram post. So for example, let's take this one, right? So Lilac did 4 flagship, she was one of our clients, $1 million sprint. She did 4 flagship sales in a week. So she hit a 12 grand week. Awesome, right? And so that's a lovely story to say, to talk about her business. And it's a great case study. So I can take this small little snippet here. I can share on my Instagram like this with a nice little title there. I can then take that title, I can put it into an email, and I can tell the story about how Lilac has been able to make 12K in a week by selling flagship products. And I can explain what a flagship product is and what methodology did and why she had success. Boom, boom, boom. I'm showing credibility. People are like, oh, I want to have 12K in a week. Maybe I should go and have a strategy session with Richard, And so hence why you start to share these on social and then add them into your long-term warming up. Cool. Makes sense? Lovely. So share wins on social is great. Add them to a long-term warming up sequence, even better. Where else could they show up? It could be long-form Facebook posts. Could be some media or PR that you've got. Did you write an article for a newspaper or a newsletter at one point? Were you featured in anything locally? Was there something? Did you go on a radio interview? Did you do a keynote presentation that you got a load of slides like these that could just be bundled up into a very quick article and long-term warming up email sequence? Your YouTube videos. How many YouTube videos you put out that you've written a long description underneath that explains what that YouTube video is, that you could just grab that YouTube video, embed it in the email, and then actually add that in as content, right? What about results from the polls? So there's loads of stuff. You could say I recently, asked my group of 1,000 people who are entrepreneurs about, what's the most important lead generation for them, and 49% of them said LinkedIn. Isn't that interesting? And then bam, I've got a long-term piece in, right? So it's just little bits like that. Cool. So before I show you how to build this and actually draw it out for you. We're talking about which software do I recommend to use. And we recommend kind of a couple of softwares for starter outers. One's MailerLite, because I like MailerLite. It's better than MailChimp in terms of the functionality, and it doesn't try to constantly charge you stuff, and it allows you to do really nice sequences, and it's free up to 1,000 people. So if free is my favorite number, so MailerLite does free up to say 1,000 people, so that's awesome. Go with that. Active Campaign is really good. It will charge about $15 for about 1,000 people. And the nice thing about Active Campaign, it's got the ability to clamp on CRM onto it. It's got the ability to do more. So if you want something that's going to be a bit more future-proof, Active Campaign, if you've got only a few hundred people in your contacts, you want to try this stuff out, MailerLite's place where you go, right? Cool. So I've got a swipe file here with some example long-term warming ups that I'm going to share in the chat now. So it's just 4. So my clients get my entire 2021 long-term warming up email sequence as a swipe file. For you guys, there's the first 4 here as a swipe file. I just want to share that and show you what that might look like. Is that you'll jump onto that. It'll be a PDF that you guys can download using that link. It's in the chat. Can you see it in the chat? We all got it in the chat. Just nod if you can. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, so the type of document you'll have will be a long-term warming up like this, and there'll be some examples of different emails. You can go in. Actually, it's probably best if I click on the one that I've shared with you, wouldn't it? Just so you can see. Right. So you can see here. So Bruce Lee on laser type focus. It's me just taking a quote. So taking a quote, the successful warrior is the average man with laser focus. And it just talks about why you should have laser focus, and then does a call to action. Reply yes if you would like me to ask about helping someone or come along to a group or whatever it is, right? Can I tell you a story? So this is storytelling about how habits work, etc. This one's take this step. So this is actually saying, one of our clients said this. And then they shared a link to a video. So this is sharing a link to a video, which is cool, right? And then the final one, which is quite a nice one to look at, is that who's going to pay you $1 million? And this is going and sharing a YouTube video that we've created. So you can say, hey, do this. Why not grab a cup of Earl Grey and pull up a futon and tuck into this? Crikey, I was getting all fruity. It wasn't my language. And you click on that and it will take you through to a video, etc. So you can start to do this, and when you do start to take people through to videos or catch-ups, you can then get them to say, well, if you want a strategy session, you can put forms underneath, etc., and they can watch videos. And it's like little micro you can see little micro webinars, etc., that you can use within this. So not only are you sending them emails, you're then drawing them back to further content. They watch the further content, and then they can apply for a strategy session using the form below. So this kind of gives you a feel there. Have a look at those, have a bit of a play with them. If there's any spelling errors, that's my fault. I'm completely dyslexic, so I'll never spot them anyway. So don't worry. Don't hurt my feelings by letting me know. So this confidence is built. I built confidence and not worrying about spelling. Right. So shall we build one? Who wants to build one? So let's before we build one, I'm going to sketch it out for you what we're going to build. So we've just shown you all of this lovely place that you can get content, reviews, old blogs, articles, blah, 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 right? YouTube videos. Now, when we actually build a funnel, what you want to do is actually understand that the first thing you do is do a 5-minute delay. Sorry, 5-day delay. Because when people come into your ecosystem, say someone registers for this marketing roundtable today, you're going to get 2 or 3 emails reminding you about this marketing roundtable. So I don't want to, the day that you registered into my database, send you an email straight away, because you're already getting emails from me about the thing you did. Same with like an ebook download. If you just download an ebook, I'm going to send you the ebook as email 1. The next day, I'm going to remind you about the email. The third day, I'm probably going to say, do you want a strategy session, right? And so that 3 steps email sequence is going to play out over 3 to 4 days. So the last thing you want me to do is send you another email then, getting in the way of the email I've already sent. So what you do is you wait 5 days and then you send the first email 1, right? That is a 1. And then you do another, say, if you're going to send one every week, wait 7 days, and then you send email 2, wait 7 days, email 3, right? So that's how this works. The beauty of this is that every time a new person enters your database, they are getting email 1. So as you build this out, it's like a train track that you're building. Now, the big carriage at the front is your main database that you send off down this train track the first time. That is the front of the train, and it's your entire database that you currently have. And they start down your long-term warming up. The next carriage that's attached to the big engine at the front is the next week's new leads. So you might get, say you get like, 20 leads a week, right? So it means that, say you got 1,000 people in your database, that's the train carriage, right? And then next week you might get a new 20 people, right? So that might be, 3 people on Monday, 4 people on Tuesday, et cetera, right? And so that next week 1's carriage is 20 people. So you have 20 people kind of waiting in here, and then they'll get email 1, but you've got 1,000 people waiting here for email 2. Do you get it? So then the next week, you might on average get like 23 leads, or you might get 17 leads. And so your train starts to look like this. It starts to become a carriage that's following the big engine at the front. And so as long as you keep on laying track in front of it, the train doesn't fall off the track, and people keep on getting new content. So that's the only thing you got to do, is just make sure that every week you're adding 1 or 2 emails onto the end of your sequence, and you'll keep on adding value. Right. So although I said MailerLite and ActiveCampaign, I actually use Kajabi. The reason why I use Kajabi is I can see Lawrence going, all right, I'll find another one. The reason why I didn't recommend Kajabi for people watching this is that it's not as good as MailerLite and ActiveCampaign in terms of doing email marketing. What it is, however, is an email marketing system that's clamped onto an online course portal where all of my online trainings there, all of my clients there, all of my landing pages, all of my websites there, all of my database there. It's like the best all-in-one system that I know as a coach that uses online courses. And so that's why you would use this, because you're using online courses. Do not use it if you don't use online courses, because it's built as an online course thing first, which happens to have an email thing, versus ActiveCampaign or MailerLite, which is an email thing first. And that's what they're really good at. So it's best to specialize if you're going to do it. Now, if I show you here, this is my long-term warming up. You can see 43 emails, so nearly a year's worth of emails over 400 days. The reason why it says 400 days is that actually my track, what I do is I do an email that's 400 days away, because that means that I don't let that train fall off the track. And even if I forget, now I don't ever forget, and I keep on adding one to the end, but if there was a problem, I missed a week, it means that that train doesn't fall off the track. The problem being, if the train goes off the track, it's hard to add all those people that have just fallen off back in, because you don't want them to get email 1 again, and you can't add them in mid-flow. See what I mean? So that's why it's there. Right. So just very, very quickly going to show you this. So this is long-term warming up. You can see, 250,000 sends that I've sent on this already. So it's a big old sequence. And you can see here that every day, so day 5 is the first email. Remember, wait 5 days. And then these are, entrepreneurs, by do this, live 2 goals. And these are just the type of emails that you'll see in my long-term warming up. And it's just tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of emails, right? And it's just down there, right? So how would you create one of these? Really, really simple. I'm not going to teach you guys to suck eggs, but essentially, you're going to add a new email like this. Add a new email campaign with this nice blue button here. The other ones are very similar to this. You don't want to send a campaign. You want to send a sequence. These are actually sequence. It's called automations in ActiveCampaign and MailerLite. So let's just call this test, press continue, and it's going to build it out like this. Now, I always like to go really simple. I go purely like a completely blank email. This is what this is. Blank email. There's no clever heading, anything like that. If anybody's sending you a picture of an email with a header picture, it's a marketing circular. So why start off on the back foot? Send it as much so it looks like an email as possible, right? So the first email you want to send, remember, is day 5. So you just change the day to day 5. You then can call the title whatever you want. Let's go on to our long-term warming up. Bruce Lee on laser light focus. So let's go do that. Great. Boom, and then boom. I probably wouldn't use capitals because it would look all spammy. And now I would just go simply have written all this out, or be taking my social media stuff. I'll be adding it in. you guys have done this stuff before, so I'm not gonna labor on it. Just remember to do clever stuff like this, like personalize it. So make sure you get their first name in there. And what I like to do, and some of you might have noticed getting emails from me, I like to put people's names in the title. So I'll grab that there and it will take their name. So Bruce Lee on Laser Light Focus, Alex, or Alex, do you have laser light focus like Bruce Lee? Right. And so it kind of can be like that. Put it in there. If you want to, you can add some PSs, like PS, check out my YouTube channel, etc. But that's it. Nice and simple. Press save. Job done. Now all we need to do is add another email, and we need to add, we basically do it on day, just basically go to the classic editor again. This is just Kajabi, but instead of day 6, we don't want to do that. We want to do it on day 12, don't we? Because 5 plus 7, someone's going to tell me it's not 12, but let's say it's 12. And you just go here, there, and then we got an next one. Simple as that, gang. We've just added another one. So my point, if you are going to do this, is you want to do three emails. You want to get 3 emails. 1, a wait, email 1, wait, email 2, wait, email 3, wait. And the reason why you do that is that gives you a month of content before you have to add the next one in, which is the important part to this, right? So it gives you some wiggle room as you start to get the thing rocking and rolling. So that's where I'm going to now. I want to show you one quick thing now, just to invite you all to to further have a conversation about this and actually work it through. Because remember, the clients that we work with get results. These are clients that we're working with that are making sales of flagship products in the past. People are making 8K on there. We just showed you the 3 sales in 1 week. We got another 3K here, 9K here. The people we work with that do this type of stuff, that put those funnels together, get results. And I just want to maybe talk to you guys about that and actually show you and add more value in a strategy session that I run once a week. In that strategy session, it's completely free. We look at where you guys are now with your business. Then we look at where you want to be in 12 months' time. And we look at the way that campaigns such as the long-term warming up sequence or other campaigns like you would have seen at the front where I showed you that funnel diagram, how we can get you from where you are currently in your business, specifically for your business, to that 12-month goal that you've got. And that's the piece that I really love doing. And we spend some time really deep diving on that and your business and looking at those different campaigns. If at the end there's the way that I can help, great. If there's not, just take the ideas. They're yours. Absolutely no obligation, right? So how would you do that? We've got a free strategy session booking thing here. Let me just show you this and I'm going to jump into some questions. So all you would do is you would jump on to our website. You see here our website, and let me just get rid of this because that's a landing page. So I haven't got a header. And at the top here, you'll see that there's this thing, free strategy session here. So that's the page that I was showing you there. There's this orange button here, just above some more of these other wins in here. And you click on this orange button and then bam, there you go. Right. So that's the bit there. You can see there's actually only one left this month and it's 12:30 today. So that's the one that we've got availability for. It's a small group. It's usually about 4 to 5 people maximum. And we go through it together and we introduce you to other people in there. And it's a really great way of meeting other people that like yourself and also getting tons of value. So it's in the chat now. So do take me up on that offer. They are limited. And so I hope that helps. Good. All right. So back into the room. Lee just had a DM, or not a DM, a comment. I'll get my words right in a second. Do you want to just ask that? Where are you? Where are you?
Yes, hi, sure.
Perfect.
Just wondered how we set this up into our weekly marketing email that we send as well. So we send one every Friday, which is obviously more marketing and special offers and that sort of thing. How do you, at what point do you add a new subscriber into that database so that you're not bombarding them with these warm-up introductory kind of emails as well as the marketing ones?
Well, we send 4 emails a week to our clients. So on Tuesday, we send an invite to this event. And Wednesday morning, an hour. So we do 1 day before, 1 hour before, 15 minutes before. So 1 day before, hey, we're doing this event. This is our weekly moment. And then Wednesday, an hour before this event, we sent an email. And then 15 minutes before this event, we sent an email. So those are 3 email sequence to do our weekly moment and to invite people along to it. And then we send the long-term warming up on a Friday. So it's 4 emails a week. But we do not see a big unsubscribe rate. Our unsubscribe rate is pretty much being as standard. Doesn't matter if we send one or if we send a ton of them, it just has the same percentage. And so people that come to these events find the email reminders and the content we put out valuable. So people we care about. The people that unsubscribe, they unsubscribe. They're not your audience. So I wouldn't worry about it so much. But when you're already sending something out on a Wednesday, I would say that you are already doing a long-term warming up style. It's just that you're having to create something new each time for that Wednesday. And if you wanted to do more of a thought leadership, I would theme them. So you could have, your Friday newsletter, great, but maybe you have a thought leadership Tuesday, and you just have a branded day to say, to give a bit of space between the two of them and say, hey, here's a tip. So we share tips on a Tuesday and we do our, our newsletter on a Friday. That's how I would work if you're going to do that. But you're probably in that category of you are already emailing your audience once a week. So if you're comfortable with that, then that's great. You're getting it out. The reason why I would anything I would do to change is maybe to get a weekly moment. Maybe your newsletter is that weekly moment. But the critique I would say for you is that what are you doing each week to actually really drag inquiries out of your audience, to really get people to come and say hello and to see them and to spend more time with them. We talk about awareness, consider, convert. So yes, awareness, they find you on your email address, but what are you doing each week to get them to consider the problems that you solve, to consider how you can help? And if you can do, say, an event, or you can do a podcast, or you can do a YouTube video, then they can spend more time with you in that mode, and then they're more likely to convert if it's right for them, right?
Yep, that's great. Thank you. Because my concern was maybe we make the marketing email less marketing and add some more value into it. Because I guess with what you're saying with the automations, if they sign up, day 5 is going to be different for everybody. So it's trying to get into that set schedule. Like I like what you just said. There's Tuesdays is the thought leadership side, and the Friday is something more marketing related. But I guess if everyone's in a sequence, those days are going to be slightly different for everyone.
Yeah. So the point being is that when someone, now you can say wait 5 days and then delay until Friday at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
And so then everybody gets the email always Friday at 11 o'clock. But if I joined you 5 weeks ago, it will be the 5th email that I'm getting at Friday at 11 o'clock. If I joined you last week, it will be the 1st email that I'm getting at Friday at 11 o'clock. And so what you don't want to do is have to create, what you're doing is you're creating new things every single week and everybody's getting the same thing. Yeah. Whereas actually you could just get like 5-10 emails into a sequence, and then that's kind of project sorted. And, ultimately you could outsource that to a copywriter or someone that could just keep on clamping on more stuff. That you just got a really nice train track there. And I've got clients that go, right, I'm happy now. I've got a year. I've got 52 emails. I've done a year. If people are on my long-term warming up for a year, that's it. That's season 1 done, job done. And they're just happy then to just set up a year's content, no drama.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That was really helpful.
No worries. Good to see you. Good to see you again. I can see there's more people coming into the chat there. So people are saying, is there difficulty downloading the swipe file link? So what we'll do is we'll send you all an email with that attached as well. So actually a physical attachment. So that will help after this call. When we send you this, we'll also send a link to the replay if you want to go back over any of this. But back into the room, gang, further questions. Further questions, or have people been working long-term warming ups that want to share?
Richard, Jeremy. It's Jeremy. I was very interested on your comment about not putting headers on emails, because for years I wasn't putting headers on emails, and then I kind of thought, well, everybody else is doing that. should I be doing that?
Yeah.
So I've kind of got a bit of a fudge going on at the minute, which is if I use Kajabi as well. So if I send an onboarding sequence to people, I kind of put a header in the email that's got the name of the course that they're in, so they kind of know it's about that course. But I was thinking, I should have headers on everything, and I've just moved over from the classic editor to the new one and everything. And then I'm thinking, that's a good point you've just made. So you would definitely do this like long-term warm-up sequence just to try and word them like normal emails.
Yeah, 100%. So when you are putting together an email campaign and you want it to feel like you have personally emailed them and called them into action, then just make it as light and simple and authentic as possible. Now, if someone signed up as your client, then you're not going to get into their spam filter because they would have already been receiving emails from you. So you'll be a trusted sender. So yeah, you can make them a little bit more pretty. We don't bother, but you can make them a little more pretty if you want to, as part of, if you want to make part of the experience, but it's not essential to do that by any means. I would say it's a detriment when you're doing it on marketing purposes. Because marketing purposes, you want people to get in, you want to capture them. It's good article writing, isn't it? You've got to capture them with the first line. If you're trying to capture people's imagination and there's a white box with a little red cross top left, and you've got to right click and view pictures, you're not really inspiring me at that moment. Whereas if you've got a really nice, first sentence that goes and really gets me involved in that, go, okay, what's that about? Then that's working hard as a piece of marketing content. So that's why, you've got to look at what the experience is for the user.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Yeah. Even the ones where the image actually gets through. Well, is the first line of your email more important than your logo? And I would argue in a marketing piece, definitely, because, the logo smogo, we've all got logos, like it doesn't matter. It's why, so what's in it for me? We all inherently want to know, what is this? How is this going to help me do something faster, better, stronger, quicker? And if it's not, I'm not interested. And so your logo or a little white box with red cross on it isn't going to do that. So hence why you do it that way. Cool. Good stuff, Jeremy. John, over to you. John, then John. Mr. Gower first. Let's go Gower.
Thanks very much, Richard. Thanks for all of this, mate. It's really useful content. I'm sure everybody would agree with me that it does help out. So we send out weekly emails, and we're going to change all of that. We're using the old system of Centauri, if you remember those from the good old days. Centauri.
Right. Yeah.
It's just a functioning email that broadcasts really more than anything. So I'm definitely going to be looking at MailerLite. The advice you've given, is it more towards people who are doing one-on-one coaching or education, or would it? I mean, for us, it would promoting events is kind of a different story, isn't it?
Well, there's definitely. So first of all, I mean, remember one of the examples was with which I used for my heating company back when I had that. So I think everybody who is selling a service needs to show themselves as being an expert. Doesn't matter if you're a coach or a marketing agency or a boiler servicing company, you need to show yourself as an authority on that. That's why you can charge a premium price. That's why you can do, you can have people coming to you as opposed to you have to constantly go to them. It's that, you become the go-to person. So when you start to think about your business job, business networking, there are events that are going on. But there is also a number of things that people should think about when they come to a networking event, like, have you got business cards, or, what does a virtual event look like when you're doing networking? How to be great in a breakout room, how to be good on a one-to-one when you're speaking to people, how to, and so these are tips that you must have put out countless amounts of time. You're already sitting on tons of that content. So why don't you break that down into 52 different tips and send it out on a Friday and make it Networking Tip Friday, and just send it as a little snippet every Friday. Bam, bam, bam. And then at the PS, you can go, PS, if you want to try out this tip, why don't you click on this link and find the next event near you?
Yeah, brilliant.
And bam, you're in. So it's just trying to do something in a different, it's just trying to get people's attention in a different way, add value first, and then put it back. Look, guys, at 1:45 is when we officially finish. I'm sticking around for another 5-10 minutes to answer further questions. But just before I do, I want to just draw your attention back to this, because my phone's gone off a couple of times. So I'm really looking forward to seeing people on this event here. There is, if you can't make this afternoon at 12:30. There is the Wednesdays in June that you can jump into. There is a couple of spaces still left for Wednesday today. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'll just chuck it back into the chat there. If you're watching this on replay, you'll be able to see that underneath the replay there. So do go and jump on there. Looking forward to seeing. And thank you for the people that have already booked into that. Cool. Right. John D. How are you, mate?
I'm doing all right. Sorry, no camera on today. But I'm not sure if I missed this earlier as well. So it should be a fairly quick question. Are you only putting people into the sequence? Are you putting them in at the beginning or at the latest point in the sequence? They
always get email 1. So
Okay.
the beauty of this, it can be over time. You build this sequence. It's a really long sequence, but the person that signs up to you tomorrow is still going to get that email 1. So if that Bruce Lee on Laser Sight Focus is the first email, the people that sign up to my email list in 2019 got that email first. The people that sign up this week get that email first.
Right. And are you not concerned at all about them being like out of date emails that's along the way?
They are. So that's the point. So they are evergreen emails. So they are always very much not like, on Thursday, we're going to be talking about this, and this, because that's what you would use, as I was saying, for say you're promoting an event. That's a separate email. Your long-term warming up is like John Gower's 52 networking tips. At the end of the 52 tips, I would simply loop back to tip number 1 and go cycle again. Why not? Or actually, could he get another 52 out, and then he could publish his book, 101 networking tips, from John Gower, and basically your book gets built. I've got people that have actually written books through creating a long-term warming up email sequence. Think about that. Think about your program. If you're doing a program, you've probably got contents or a book. Your contents of your program. If you've done a video course, I know you have a program that could become the contents of a book. That could become individual emails with a long-term warming up email sequence. And so all of this stuff is perfectly repurposable.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. You just need to create the emails with that in mind, I guess, is the key thing.
Yeah. And you can always edit them afterwards or kill them. Right. So when I go through my long-term warming up, if I've got one that's got a really low open rate, I will just kill that email. And then it all pushes forward a bit. I'll make sure that I've got a couple of emails on the end of it before I do it, but I will either just delete that email or I'll re-change that email. So I could get it's usually open rates, by the way, it's like email titles. So it's just tweaking the title on the content's usually good. So you can go and review this and ever improve that email open rate. Cool. It's a great asset. We should all have one. Further questions, gang? I'm sticking around. Still got 5 minutes. If you're going, great to see you, by the way. Fantastic to hang out. If you've got further questions, feel free to answer now.
I've got a question. Good morning, Richard.
Ali, good morning, Ali.
Hello. I'm a newbie. I have an email list of about 89 subscribers. How do I grow that? How do I get the subscribers in the first place?
So there's a number of ways to do that, and if I think you might have booked a strategy session already. Yeah, okay, you've booked a strategy session, so we'll go through those there. But just to try and give you some overarching ideas, maybe I can show that funnel. I'll just show you one of the funnels, for example, that I demonstrated. So all of our clients get one of these tailored specifically to them and the campaign that they're running. Remember that we were talking about this funnel here. Now you can see here that we're talking about LinkedIn organic, LinkedIn outreach, pointing people towards a weekly moment registration. So when someone registers for an event you do, bam, you've now got their email address. So get 100 people to register an event, you now got 100 people that add on to your 79 people, right? So now I have 100 people join your email sequence. But also you can see here, LinkedIn outreach, when you're doing connection requests, they don't have to necessarily go on to register for your weekly moment, but you can, when someone connects to you, you can go onto their LinkedIn profile, and if they've got their contact details openly available to the public and you're a first degree connection, then I feel there's no problem going on there. This is, by the way, this is light entertainment with Richard in the morning. This is not legal advice. You've got to take your own opinions on GDPR. But my personal opinion, which is not advice, is that when I'm a first degree connection with you, Ali, and you know, I've sent you a message to say, hey, I think we should be great to connect, and you connect with me, and then I would have sent you an email saying, you know, this is stuff that, so I sent you a DM saying this is stuff that we do, which is part of the automation sequence that we work, and we show clients what to do on that. I feel that that's okay if I want to follow up and say, oh, and here's some more information on email, because, you know, you and I, you know, you are someone that's connected with me. We are already in conversation on DM. And so here's a little email. You've got your email publicly available, right? And so that's where you can, using the software that we show and the funnels we show, you can automatically make that whole conversation happen and hoover people onto your email sequence doing that. And people are always really surprised about that. They go, oh, but that information, you can't get that information. Well, actually, it's this little button here, contact info, and that little button there, you press it and it shows everybody's contact info. So here's my email address, my phone number, my websites, you know, even my birthday. So if you want to send me a card, you can do. So all of that information's publicly available. And it just depends. So if I go and find you, I think we might be connected, Ali.
Yeah.
Let's have a.
There I am. Right.
Oh, sorry. There you go. I was at the top here. There you go. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go onto here, let's view your few profile. Great. We are first degree connections. And I look at your contact info. Sorry for doing this, but it is publicly available.
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
Please, everybody, contact.
So look, not only we got your mobile number. I can text you if I want to. I could WhatsApp you. But we got your websites. You know, I've got your email address. Crikey, we've got your address. I can pop round and say hello, have a cup of tea. I've got your birthday, so I can come around on your birthday and deliver a cake. And I can text you on the way there. So do you see? Do you see where a lot of people go, oh, how bloody dare you email me after connecting with me on LinkedIn? Oh, my privacy has been violated. Okay, well, you've just, sorry, I get a little bit up to some of your faces. So this is where I kind of close the meeting very soon. But the point being is that it's there. You are saying, here's my contact info. And therefore, if you feel you want to contact me, it's available for people who are connected with me to contact me. And as someone that's connected with you, and I want to invite you along to an event like this, I've contacted you and you've very kindly come along to this event. And that's all, as a marketer, a lead generator, I'm helping people to do, to be able to make those connections and to draw people off LinkedIn, where it has its own benefits, but also has its own noise, and into your email list, where you can then have a communication with people and invite people to the next part of your funnel. That is a really good example of what I go through on a strategy session. And it's a really good thing for you guys to check out. So I'll leave it there before I let my mouth run away with me any further. And thank you all so much for jumping onto this, and you know, really, really appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you all either next week or on a strategy session. So big love. Great to see you. And,
cheers, mate. See you tomorrow.
No worries. Cheers. Bye-bye.